We back from a little hiatus. Had to catch up on some things, but we take you to the Midway and tell you how about these ethno villages. Let's go, 77. What's up?
Welcome back Welcome to another 77 Flavors
Welcome back.
Yeah, well, let me get my intro out.
Yeah.
If this is your first time listening, welcome to another episode of 77 Flavors Chicago. Every week we dive into a Chicago history story. Today is part 4?
4 or 5?
Of the World's Fair?
Yeah, 4? Yeah.
I think we're part 4.
Yeah.
So if you haven't listened to the first 3 episodes, please go back and listen to them. They were pretty fun. We did a couple different days. The week before was an itinerary at my personal favorite itinerary at the World's Fair. And so it was a really fun one.
Yeah.
If this is not your first time listening, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. We are almost wrapping up the World's Fair here.
Yeah.
We have probably a couple more episodes left.
Mm-hmm.
Today we're talking about the Midway Plaisance. Next week we're going to talk about the experience of Black Americans at the fair. So we are done with the kind of like overview. Now we're doing a bit more dive into it. So we're excited to get into that. But before we get into it, please make sure you're following us on all socials at all of our social media is at 77 Flavors CHI. And that's the number 77. We'd love to have you. We post weekly videos, sometimes like 4 or 5 videos a week about the topic that we're talking about. And we're
doing good, yeah.
Yeah, right. When we have time. And we kind of give you visuals of everything that we talk about during the episodes. There's so much on there that's super fun. We also post recaps of things that we did throughout the week to give you some ideas of how to experience the city in a fun way. Mm-hmm. And this week was a fun one. We had some really good activities this week.
I feel like we've been on a boat a lot, by the water a lot.
We've been on the boat a lot. And the first thing that we did actually at the beginning of the week, which we will do 2 more times, is we visited the Obama Center.
Oh my God. Y'all.
And it was just an insane experience.
Man, like if you're a fan of Obama, this is a great walk through his life and his presidency. Yeah. And I mean, as a museum,
phenomenal.
I
think we're not allowed to post until the 4th, I think is what they said, because that's when it, it opens more to media. But we did a preview and we got to see the museum. The museum is super cool. I want to share more about it once they allow us to. I feel like
we can talk about it. We just can't.
I guess we can talk about it.
We can't show none.
My favorite part was that the museum is actually not just Obama. Like the first floor is American history. And so it is a lot of U.S. politics, kind of from the birth of the country. It's basically America 250.
Right.
As the first floor.
A good version.
Yeah. Kind of not necessarily. There's a lot of talk about how Black.
Well done version. You know what I mean?
Right. Well
a
done
tasteful version.
Yes. A historically accurate version.
Yes, exactly. Y'all
we'll
know what I'm talking
about. And then, like Dario said, it dives into Obama's history and his presidency.
A lot of artifacts that I didn't know Obama had in his personal collection, which are on display. And that I won't say too much else because I want y'all to see what I'm talking about. Obama got some stuff. But then also, taking you back through that time in 2007, 2008, Goosebumps. And then and even leading up to 2008. Man, seeing all the buttons and the pins and the video displays and the moments, moment he accepted inauguration, the moment he became elected as president, man, dude, it's just a vibe. Yeah. Honestly, you need 2-3 times at least to go through.
We spent 45 minutes just on the first floor of the museum.
And that was just the first floor.
And we kind of started moving faster through the other floors just because we were short on time. We were there a total of 3.5 hours.
Yeah, right.
So we were there for a while. Yeah. And we didn't even do the vegetable garden, which, so to give you an idea, if you are not aware, the museum is the only part that is paid. Everything else is open and free. So there's a vegetable and fruit garden. There's a kids play area, which is huge.
I mean,
wish I was a kid.
I was
That
you,
sounds.
you gotta be in. You gotta be in. Obama was sliding down the thing slide.
He was.
This is what those two.
There's obviously the basketball court, and then there's the public library, which I think is like one of my the forum.
Yeah.
The forum was really cool because it's like where they're going to hold. There's an auditorium, there's a cafe, there's a restaurant, there's a bunch of stuff in there. And then the public library was amazing.
Yeah.
The 82nd Public Library.
82nd Public Library in Chicago. That is, it is fantastic in there. Honestly, what's cool is see the birth of a brand new library. All the books were new.
Cool. Yeah.
All the books in it. I was like, dang, all the books is new, like brand new. And I asked them, I was like, y'all get all new books? They were like, we bought all new books. All That's new books. Cool. Every book in there is brand new right now. And I believe right now you can check out books.
Not yet.
Not yet?
No, when we went, it wasn't yet. I think like the 19th is when it officially, the campus opens, I think, or something.
Okay.
So once the campus is open, yes.
So it's like right now it's for everything.
Right now it's still, everything's gated still because they're not fully done with construction.
Yeah.
They're still like, they're still working on the gardens. So you can't really go in just like what I mean? So I don't think you can check out anything.
Yeah, you know what, that makes sense. Yeah. I mean, but you can go in there and you can, while you're there, you can look at the books.
The reading room was so cool.
Man, look, the basketball court is crazy. It's crazy because it's actually NBA regulation. And it doesn't look big, but it's big.
It looks giant.
The whole thing is just crazy.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't feel large because there's no like seating.
Ain't no,
I mean, there is seating, but it's not stadium seating. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what else was really cool is the auditorium that was in there.
The auditorium was really cool.
The auditorium they call it is it the forum? The forum is where the free. It's the main free thing. That auditorium was fantastic, but you can walk underneath it all because like the lower level is like a connecting space.
Yeah, so the museum connects to the forum. It's like the two buildings are connected to each other.
And let me tell you, it's very cool. Let me tell you though, they got probably one of the best museums best museum stores.
Oh yeah,
in all of the museums.
I really liked it.
Very nice, very
curated,
and it's got things that you actually want.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Because it's like not only is it like about them, but it's also like Michelle and like the Obamas. It's also about their interests. Yeah. So like there's gardening things there. You know what I mean? Like there's books for kids. There's all types of things. There's like home decor pieces that they mean something to them. So it was like it's like a further look into what they're into. I don't know. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Y'all gonna love it. When you go there?
I think so. I think people are gonna love it. I think the campus is insane. Like
it's gonna be the hangout spot.
It's so peaceful. It's so beautiful. The landscaping is unreal. The views from the rooftop are.
The staff is nice.
Everyone was so
staff
nice.
Got to be nice, man. Y'all can't sully Obama's name. I imagine going to the Obama Center and being they was rude up in there.
Can you imagine?
He ain't gonna have that. Valerie Jarrett was walking around. We ran into Valerie Jarrett. She's just walking around the cafeteria.
She's the CEO of the foundation.
just walking around. Valerie Jarrett, y'all.
Crazy.
Okay.
Next we went to the Radisson Blu, which is the Aqua building. So our friend Ronnie, he creates content, but he takes tons of pictures of Chicago doors. And his handle is Doorways of Chicago. Very cool look into like Chicago architecture. And his photographs are on display at the Radisson Blu. So we stopped in. We had lunch at the Fire Lake Bar and Grill is the name of the restaurant.
For the save our life.
And they have a list of cocktails that is based on Chicago history, which rotates. So if you're interested in it, go try it now because it's going to rotate soon. And Dario found his favorite drink.
Man, look, I ain't gonna hold you. Man, it's the one with tequila and mezcal in it?
It's tequila, mezcal, ginger, and bitters.
That one is the maybe I was just taken back just that moment. He made it perfect for me that one time. I doubt that that's the case.
Yeah.
I feel like he could do this on repeat.
Yeah,
just here's the thing. All the festivals are going to be down there in that area.
Right.
You could walk, and you don't think about going to a hotel to like have a nice drink or have a nice time.
Honestly,
that
burger was really good.
That burger was good. If you are in a hotel, you probably want to at least try it out. You probably coming back to the hotel like late night, and everything closed, kitchen closed. Don't do that to yourself. Trust me, this is one that you gonna want.
But it's literally right across the street from Millennium Park.
Right across the street. You just walk right across the street. You go up in there. They got a little patio thing. Nice little, slightly off the beaten path because I'm sure it ain't gonna be as crowded down that way. But man, I don't know. That drink.
And the Aqua building is really cool already. Like just seeing it is. You know
what I just realized? I wrote it down, the name of the drink. The Lawndale. Is the Lawndale is the one you wanted. And if you hear this podcast, hopefully you hear it soon so that you can go get it because it rotates like Sarah said.
Yeah. We also went to Brews and Bites, which is it's on the river. It's one of the riverfronts. It's right across the street from the Mart because the Art on the Mart started this last week, and we were there for the first day that it started. And I didn't realize it starts at 8:30 p.m. Because it's like it needs to be dark, and it shifts. Yeah, right. My bedtime is 9. It actually shifts the start time because it starts getting later, darker. So I think it moves to 9 p.m. in a few weeks.
Rotating.
But it was such a cute experience. I mean, the just sitting on the river was really nice. Peaceful. I will say, we ordered the burger, which was good. It was a decent burger. It is a little pricey.
I mean, it's on the river.
$25 for a burger.
It's on the river. Y'all got to expect that.
But they have a ton of drinks. It's really fun. You don't even. I just got a ginger beer, and
you know the vibe of being.
It's just fun.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. On the river.
I will say I am effective immediately old because they had it was a special event. So obviously they had a DJ. I don't think that they normally maybe have a DJ. I think it's usually more mellow. But at one point, I was like, I am so old because I would love for them to turn the music down. And I think it's a me problem because everyone else was vibing. But I was like, I wish it was 30% lower volume.
Here's the thing.
It wasn't even that loud.
Right. Well, we don't hang out on the river like that.
Yeah, no.
The thing is, we move. Yeah, we definitely should. But we be moving around. Trust me, we by the river all the time, but we don't
just sit there and
which we
enjoy.
Like you said, we definitely need to just vibe out. Honestly, you and I just need that peaceful, just chill,
non-work,
because the river might be the best vibe.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you. That might be. Even the boat tours are fire, but you on the boat.
Yeah.
Don't you just want to tuck off real quick and just sit there? Everybody was just sitting there gazing at the art. You know what I mean? It was quiet.
Yeah.
Me and Sarah was loud as hell laughing.
Yeah, right. We were giggling.
That's our problem.
That's the problem.
We just go there and we start giggling for no reason.
We can't ungiggle.
We the kids in the classroom that
we're just so annoying.
You know what's funny? The 24, 25. I'd be dying if somebody said that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And then we stopped by Green City Market over the weekend because we are actually. It hasn't been announced yet, so this is kind of you're getting a sneak peek, but. We are Chef Sarah Stegner from Prairie Grass Cafe and Chef Ethan from Hermosa are cooking a dinner together July 28th, and they're donating the proceeds from the dinner to our nonprofit. So the tickets aren't up yet; they will be soon. But that's
14 tickets, man. Y'all come out and support a good cause,
only 14 tickets.
Yeah.
So and actually 2 of those tickets are going to be given away to. Another opportunity for you to support us is we have a scavenger hunt that is through the loop on June 13th and 14th. And you basically download the eAtlas app, which is a local Chicago tour app.
Yep.
And you take a self-guided scavenger hunt, and a group or person that finishes first and with the most correct answers wins $3,000 worth of prizes.
Yeah, that's a good.
One of them is a tour and a stay at the Palmer House.
That's some good dough right there. That's some good prizes.
Some really
in
good.
I'm
really jealous that I don't get to win these prizes.
Yeah, for real. Just imagine. Here's the thing, because we looked at the rules for the tickets for the Palmer House stay. You got till 2027 next year,
June
right?
2027.
But here's the thing: you get to pick whichever one you want.
Yeah.
Christmas time at the Palmer House.
Can you imagine? Sick.
Now, here's the thing. I know your first notion would be let me get the summertime, right?
Which is fine.
Which is I mean, obviously going to be a fine. Christmas at the Palmer House, right there by State Street, right there by Marshall Field.
Let us come stay with you.
Yeah, for real.
Get a double. 2 queen beds.
Hey, Palmer, if you listen to
us. But yeah, so there's a ton of opportunities for you to actually support us, but also interact in the city.
Move about.
last one is, I don't know if you're going to hear this in time, but on June 7th, we are doing a tour in Bronzeville. This is, it's called What the Girls Are Doing. So it is women only, but it's super fun. I'm sure they host co-ed tours. We're doing a few more with them, so I'm sure there's going to be a co-ed tour soon, but this is like to get girls out into the neighborhoods and explore. I will have all of this information in our Substack or newsletter or show notes, whatever you want. You can subscribe to the show notes to be sent to your inbox through our website. I will, so that you can get them in your inbox. You don't have to go looking for them. So if you want to do that, you can find us on Substack. You can go to our website and sign up for the newsletter. All of that will get you all that information. Today housekeeping was a long one. I'm sorry.
I mean, look, it is, we out here moving.
We took last week off for the holiday week, so we had a lot to catch up on.
Blaze the heck out of Obama, so.
But yeah, for real.
It's 8 minutes.
Yee. All right, let's get into it. The Midway, baby.
Yeah, let's go. I ain't gonna lie, I almost forgot to press the button.
That's fine. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's like most of memory is gone.
Yeah.
Today we are at the Midway, and this is a very interesting one, as they all are.
Right.
But I think it's fascinating because this was kind of like they were scared of how they were going to advertise it because. And not for the reason that you might think. They were worried that it would seem like they were allowing lowbrow people in.
Yes.
That's the vibe.
That crazy?
Isn't that insane?
That's
not insane, actually. I'm not surprised at all.
This was an actual accident, too. I know you're going to get into it.
I will get into it.
This is what he's supposed to happen.
So a little bit about the Midway Plaisance itself, or Plaisance, however you want to say it. It's a French word, from Plaisance, and it's basically an area where people like promenade, like they walk around. The Midway Plaisance was designed as part of the Boulevard system and the Emerald Necklace, which if you want to learn more about that, you can go listen to our Herbs and Orto episode. We dive into that. But it kind of was a vision of Paul Cornell in the 1850s. And, he was a developer from New York. He kind of wanted to remake this marshy land area. In 1869, Cornell and the South Park Commission were given the right to set up the parks and the boulevards. And so to connect Jackson Park and Washington Park, Midway Plaisance was built. Olmsted who created Central Park, was hired, and the Midway was built.
These dudes had resumes, boy.
Yeah.
Built Central Park. And then say, you know what, I got you. I'll do some stuff.
I guess I'll do that.
I guess I hit y'all off.
This is this guy, Julian Hawthorne, he was a famous writer. His dad was also a famous author. Wrote a series of articles for a few magazines at the time in 1893 where he recapped his visit to the fair. And I'll link those if you are interested in reading his multiple. I think there's 5 of them that he wrote, but he wrote one specifically for the Plaisance. And I thought this was a good way to set up for what this really was. He said, "The Midway Plaisance is a sort of a curiosity shop in which the curiosities are mainly men and manners." So,
damn, that's a mouthful, low key.
Yeah,
you dissect that internally.
Yeah,
shit.
When the fair was being designed, they actually did not want to have these sideshows, and they wanted it to be kind of exclusively like the high-end experience of arts and culture and that kind of stuff. So when they looked at the 1889 World's Fair of Paris, they saw that these sideshows made them a ton of money. And so they were like, fine, you can have it, but you can't have it on the grounds of the actual fair.
Right.
We'll give you this 1 mile strip. It was 1 mile by 600 feet. So can you imagine, just 600 feet wide and mile long?
That's kind of large, though.
Not for what they built, because imagine like there's a middle walking path, and on each end, like these villages. Like you're building full villages on the ends of each.
Think about it.
It's not that wide.
Here, let me put it in some context for you. In between where the Artistute is and across the street, that's 124 feet. That's kind of big. Now multiply that by 4.
I guess.
That's kind of well. I mean, we have been talking about multiply. Just go to the Plaisance.
It is big.
Yeah.
It is big. It was when people spoke about it, they said it was a narrow passage, and it was narrow in comparison with the actual fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Even Julian Hawthorne, when he was describing the fair, by the way, he's kind of a little sassy about it at some points, because he wasn't shying away from like criticizing it. So it's an interesting read. I read 3 of the 5, and it was I think it's fascinating. I definitely recommend you reading it. He was critical of things that other people were not critical of, like the military performances and like the bands and stuff like that.
He was like, "What? Why do we need all this stuff?"
Yeah, basically.
I mean, because they was doing a lot of it though.
They were doing a lot.
Of
Even the Midway, at the end of the Midway, there was two plots of land that were dedicated to military performances, like
it was
military grounds.
And then you got to think they was doing that before the dedication, the building dedication the year before.
It was like all the time.
Yeah, man, like
they were
like, all right.
Could have been in 2026.
Yeah.
It's too much. Enough. So they meant for this Midway to be kind of where you saw people that it was supposed to be an anthropological study. Okay. It wasn't supposed to be very entertaining. Like they didn't have amusement park as the idea.
Right. It was supposed to, like you said before, just look at people into the a mirror window into.
Yes. They hired Frederick Putnam, who was the head of Department of Ethnology and Archaeology. And this man was already very accomplished. He was the first director of the Peabody Museum, and he was actually the guy that convinced George Peabody to fund a Peabody Museum. And so he was a very well-known archaeologist and anthropologist. And his collection in the anthropology department became later on the Field Museum.
So his collection,
what he collected for the World's Fair, later on was made into the Field Museum.
But Field Museum, you reach out to us, man. We need to be up in there. Like, do you know the Field Museum said, because I was down there for a job, the Field Museum said they have less than 1% of their entire collection on display.
I believe that.
That is it. Y'all think about it, because if you go to the Field Museum, it's massive.
Yeah.
But so what you see is less than 1% of what they have. Multiplied by 100.
I mean, if we just think about like, we heard that the Chicago History Museum is no longer accepting World's Fair artifacts because they have so much. They're like, we don't bring it here. We don't want it anymore.
Probably just the same stuff over and over.
Yeah, I don't want it anymore.
Man.
And so, like, I mean, people saved a lot of this stuff, but I mean, the Field Museum, to think of like how much they have.
Field Museum was busy right around that time.
Yeah.
I mean, like they were.
Well, it wasn't open at the time.
Yeah, right. It was what, 1910?
No, I think it was before that.
Oh yeah. Definitely. It was open. They moved location.
Yeah.
I think in 1912 was like when it was like the current location. I can't remember, but
so the Field Museum opened June 2nd, 1894.
Oh, yeah, right.
And it was, yeah.
And it moved. That's when I was concerned with, because like
technically in the Palace of Fine Arts, and it moved to its current location in Grant Park in May and reopened May 2nd, 1921.
Man, I had my numbers transposed.
Yeah.
I knew it was.
Yeah. Transposed. That's a good word.
Yeah.
So Frederick Putnam hired someone. He hired impresario Sol Bloom, who was 23 years old. He was a Jewish Polish. He started out as, he wanted to develop these like fun experiences, but he later on became a politician.
Okay, doing what?
He was a politician.
Yeah.
Just doing politics.
Just doing politics, basic.
No, he ran for
fundamental politics.
Fundamental politics. No,
this is a bill.
You know what's crazy when I type these notes up and I do this research, it's so hard for me not to go down multiple rabbit holes. Like, I wanted to spend I spent probably like 35 minutes just reading about Frederick Putnam when I did not need to, because like I just needed to tell you who he is and keep it moving. But I could do a whole episode just on him and his life.
It gives you some context to who he was, so you can better tell the story. You know what I mean?
But it's just like it's so hard for me to like stay focused on topic, because there's so many cool things happening, and like these are the people that literally built the city. Like, you know what I mean? Like 1893 is still pretty young. Yeah, you know, and like
we was only what. 60 years old? 60 years old, yeah.
So Sol Bloom was 23 years old, and he helped develop the Midway, and he developed a lot of the stuff that kind of created the vibe of he made it more of this what is it called? Like when you, why can't I remember the word? When you go and you like when you go on rides and stuff, what is that called?
Carnival.
Yeah, more of that vibe.
Yeah.
Why can't I remember that word?
Yeah.
And he developed a song that's actually super popular, and this was one of the many things that he did that kind of like weren't patented or, you know, credited to him. It was just used over and over and over again so much. It's called the one of the names of it is called the Arabian Riff, and he actually developed it at the piano at the Press Club in Chicago, and I know you would know it, so I'm gonna play it for you so you can see what that sounds like.
We know what that is. One more time for you here. Where the snakes come up.
Yeah. So, and that sound has obviously been used plenty of times in different songs,
cartoons,
all
kind of things. I played it twice. That's 8 seconds now. Don't come for us now.
No, you got 60. I think.
No, I think 6 seconds.
6 seconds.
Before they be like,
well,
YouTube be on it, though.
I don't think anyone owns this sound.
Really? I mean, they can't. Bugs Bunny was out here doing his antics. How we let Bugs Bunny slide? Let's be honest. He was pushing it.
He was
pushing it.
So when Sol Bloom took over, the Midway was kind of presented as a living museum of human evolution, right? It really pushed the racist ideas of social Darwinism, which means that people that were not white were just inferior biologically and therefore socially. And so that was really what this became. And even though it wasn't necessarily explicitly labeled as that in their marketing, it was so easy to see, because so many people that wrote about that at the time, that is exactly what they noticed. There was even a quote from the Tribune of November 1st of 1893. They said, this was an opportunity was here afforded to the scientific mind to descend the spiral of evolution, tracing humanity in its highest phases down to the animalistic origins. And that's how they described the Midway, an experience for you to kind of go and watch how people evolved.
Animalistic is wild to call people.
Wild. And here's why they thought of it as kind of like, as you're walking through, you're seeing the animalistic evolution, quote unquote, is because each end of the fair, even though it was never explicitly said that this was intentional, but very visibly you could notice it, is at the far end of the fair. So the Midway Plaisance was, you exit the main fairgrounds and it's like to the west immediately, right? And I don't know if this is intentional or not, but the closest building to the Midway Plaisance was the women's building. Immediately after you exit, I actually have
so the one that was like at that border of the main grounds and the
quite literally the women's building was at the entrance, like across the street from the Midway. It was right there. I know.
So they was like, women, y'all, hey, you on the brink now?
Yeah, you close enough. Yeah. White women are almost.
Yeah. We'll change that border up. Shit.
Right. The first few buildings, if we're going from east to west of the Midway Plaisance, were really. Excuse me, were really dedicated to kind of like the model home. What did the model home look like? And most of these buildings were sponsored by certain brands. So you had like
Nike.
A glass company. No, not Nike. Libby Glass Company was one of them. The Bohemian Glass Company. And they were showcasing different, railroad companies. So the first, 6 or 7, maybe up to 10 booths work for that, right? And then it was almost like the groups of people that were closest to being white American were next. So then you had German, Irish, not even Irish, sorry. You had Dutch, sorry. Japanese, German. Okay. So those were considered like, now we're getting, these are like the closest, the next best thing. After that, you had Algerian, Moorish, Roman, Moroccan, and then at the bottom of the totem pole, according to this Midway Plaisance, was Indian. Any American Indian is what it's labeled as, Chinese village and Chinese tea house, that kind of stuff.
What's crazy is that they had India. India was there.
Yes, it was India and then American Indian.
So hold on, we had India there.
Yes,
celebrating the 400-year anniversary of him coming to see the Indians.
Correct.
And not India.
And no one saw it. No one was like, maybe we should rename this whole thing.
Maybe y'all not. We still inviting y'all, but y'all not. Nobody thought about that.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was horrible.
That's crazy.
It was absolutely horrible.
But there was a vibe down there, though.
Here's the thing. For the people attending, it was. And I read more of, Julian Hawthorne's kind of diary of attending it. And he described everything as dirty.
Shit.
He was like, wow. You see these, he's talking about the streets of Cairo, which was one of the more popular exhibits. He was like, they're wearing their dirty hats with their dirty pants and their brown skin with their brown fingers playing the flute. Yeah. It was
they was talking crazy like
that? Yes, absolutely they were. Jeez. People talk crazy now. You think they weren't talking crazy in 1893.
Right, the 90s was crazy. Could you imagine? Oh my God.
There was absolutely no fear of, no consideration that this was in any way offensive or derogatory or racist or any of those adjectives. They thought it was entertaining, and the people that attended also thought it was entertaining. And the reason that most of the people have had a pleasant experience is because most of the accounts that we hear are from white attendees, right?
So we ain't got the people of color.
Of course not.
Talking about,
you don't have. No Egyptians were coming to attend as attendees. Right. They were there as like, you watch them.
They ain't getting no pen or paper for y'all to write down.
None of the indigenous folks that were there to attend. They were a show. Right, basically. They were the show. And so, yes, obviously, like this was a very grand and cool experience, but you can't kind of like bypass the idea that this was also deeply racist and reflective of the time.
Layered in that.
Super
layered. But you know what's wild though about that experience is that they basically, the boots were zoo glass, right? That was the equivalent of zoo glass. They didn't know that. They didn't know that that's where, and I don't think a lot of people know, like listeners of our podcast and people in general, when you talk about the World's Fair, a lot of the things we celebrate came from that part of the World's Fair. The part that was deemed dirty and like the zoo
kind of
glass.
Like, kind of like the cheap
I mean,
low class.
We got the flattened coin was in stretch coin was given there. The movable sidewalk, all the elegant stuff, right? Pabst beer was there, Nabisco. All that stuff started right there, right? You know what I mean? But like all the stuff that, the other stuff,
the fun stuff,
the fun stuff, man. Like, we just said the zipper was patented today. It's the 31st, May 31st. The zipper was patented, at the World's Fair during that time. You had the Vienna beef hot dogs. Vienna beef. We love Vienna beef here in Chicago.
Yeah. There was some of the
that was in this section.
Yeah, and that was at. It was called Vienna sausage, and it was at the Austrian village. You could go in, and these villages were made to look as if they were inhabited. The people that set them up either were from these countries or whoever was sponsoring it to be set up would travel to these areas and map out these villages to look exactly like villages in those countries and cities. So they visually looked accurate.
Yeah, they look good as hell.
And it was like one of the only times that people could experience this much culture and history and archaeology from other countries without actually going.
For a few dollars too.
I think I mentioned it in a couple episodes ago, or last episode, is that to attend every single exhibit at the Midway was like $13.50, which is a lot of money for the people that are attending. But you couldn't do it all.
Yeah,
you couldn't do it all.
You couldn't do it all.
And
that's why you get 6 months.
And you could see so much without actually paying for stuff. Like you could walk through the villages, but you don't, you pay for the theater, you pay at the bazaar, you pay at the restaurant, but you could walk through the village and look at it. You don't have to pay to go into the village.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Fascinating. Some of the things that you could see, there was a submarine village where men in submarine, like in scuba diving suits, were in tanks just swimming around. And if you threw coins or dollars into the tank, they would hold up a sign that says "Thank you." For what? I don't know.
It was some of everything going on, man.
Those wild animals riding bicycles.
What?
How do you even train them?
How do you? Yeah, a wild.
Like tigers and
riding
bicycles. Or maybe elephants or something. You could throw a baseball at pins. Most people had never seen a baseball. Like, maybe the sport. But
shout out to A.G. Spalding, which that line's all the way up.
Yeah,
baseball was just about to start cracking.
Yeah, you could buy.
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it was like the first time people had seen baseball. You could buy Venetian glass, which was like brought from Venice. There was one of the exhibits was 40 women from 40 nations, so you could see the 40 most beautiful women.
Catcalling like crazy.
Yeah,
dudes was going crazy. I bet.
Yeah,
baby, I'm just going to the Austrian village. Hey, don't just go. Come on now.
Take the kids and get out of here.
Go ahead,
to the Ferris wheel.
Go to the horticulture building, the women building.
They also had obviously the Ferris wheel. We know the Ferris wheel was in the Midway, and there was something called the Chicago Captive Balloon, which only lasted through July 11th, I believe, because a gust of wind tore it apart. But it was basically like, a hot air balloon that people would get into, and it would go up 1,500 feet in the air. It was tethered, though. It wasn't like loose.
Right. You couldn't fly away. But
you couldn't fly away.
You was getting your wig snatched.
You could have flown away.
If somebody had came through and just snip.
Snip, snip.
I do want to elaborate just a little bit more on the Italian beef. That was not created there. The Vienna beef. Now, we went to Vienna. I think I might have said this last time. If I repeated myself, I'm sorry, y'all. But when we went to Vienna, having the sausage there, crazy.
It was so good.
I mean, almost like, I feel like, I think I said this when we were
talked about this last time.
Yeah,
I remember describing it.
Okay, but I don't know. When we were there in Vienna, I think I said, y'all, we might have the low end version of the Vienna beef. Right?
We have Vienna beef, which is
started from there.
Vienna sausage is what they have.
It's them.
I don't know if it's the same exact
That's
thing.
what I'm saying. We need the Vienna sausage. The hot dog is cool.
They say you got hot links.
I mean, we got they do sell the sausage, but like maybe I need to eat. Maybe I need to have the Vienna sausage.
I think it's also like the experience of having it from a food cart in Vienna was
authentic.
Like fun.
But what?
Like I think the experience is different. Like,
but now it's different.
It's like having a hot dog at a baseball stadium is different than having a hot dog at home. Like it just tastes so much better.
One of them costs $5, next one costs $20.
Exactly.
But
you know what I mean? Like the experience adds to the whole vibe.
Yeah.
One other thing about the Plaisance is that it kind of had its own sound. Right. There was actually a ton of famous musicians that came and just set up and played music, but there was also musicians that played in front of each one of these booths or villages or exhibitions to kind of lure you in. So like if you were standing in front of the German somebody's playing that fluting, and there's the guy that I kept, Julian Hawthorne, he mentioned that he said the woman with her brown fingers played the flute. I will link that for you so you can go experience it. But I think the sound of the Plaisance was another.
That's crazy.
Isn't that?
Sarah going to slide by that one. I leave that to you so you can go.
You go read that yourself.
Figure that out.
But
clear your internet browser.
there's an hour long kind of presentation from the Newberry Library. It's 7 years old, but they did an event where someone came and spoke about the music at the World's Fair, and I thought this and it was. I thought it was really cool. I watched the whole hour. I think it's really cool. I'll link it if you want to watch it. I think it's worth it because there's also some really cool historic images. But I just wanted to play a part that kind of described the music vibe of the fair. So let's listen to that.
But what's particularly interesting is the music that was heard on the Midway, which was, of course, this sort of pleasure avenue coming off the fair. And there was a lot of what we call ballyhoo performers along the Midway. And these are people that would be standing outside a particular country's pavilion and then would be playing music to advertise it. So the result was kind of cacophonous. And a lot of people reported that it was just kind of insane walking down the Midway, all this sound. And a lot of the sound was very unfamiliar to most Americans. So one newspaper reporter said, "It is good for the pilgrim to go to the World's Fair if he have music in his soul and be moved by the concord of sweet sounds. But not that the fair is entirely a bed of roses, for there is a most awful cacophony to be heard upon the Midway Plaisance. There are 2 or 3 authentic and awful bagpipers caterwauling attention to one of the sideshows. Then there are a Turkish orchestra, an Egyptian orchestra, an Algerian orchestra, all of the same model, comprising a giant mandolin and a violin played like a cello, and drums beaten by hand. The Javanese orchestra is more consoling, consisting of mild flutes and an assortment of zithers. All the same, the lover of what the civilized modern man means by music will get little good out of the barbarous bands."
That was Don Mayer, and he's a musicologist and a professor that studies the history of music. So I just thought that was a really interesting kind of snippet.
A ziffer.
Yeah.
What the hell was a ziffer?
You know what a ziffer is?
Do I know what
Yeah. When we talked about what's the company that made the organ?
Deegan. Deegan.
Yeah.
Is that what that is?
We looked at the ziffer.
Hold on. Let me.
Darius gonna
Instrument. All right. All right. Let me see what. Oh, I know. Okay. All right. I've seen that before. Yeah. It's like a piano with like a piano. Not a piano, a guitar.
Yeah. It's a flat. It's like a flat board.
What your boy was playing over in
instrument, but it's a flat board.
When we was in Egypt, was that what?
Similar. That's a no. Oud is. It looks like a guitar, and it's the one that you're thinking of.
Your boy was getting saucy last time when I was like, hold on.
The one you're thinking of is called the qanun, and it's also a string instrument. It's flat. It has a 90 degrees on both sides, and then one side is a diagonal. It's a trapezoid.
You know, you got to be a real good. Musicians are fantastic people. Like the ability to play these weird ass instruments.
Well, I mean, for them at the time, it was probably like what was
shit. Look, a guitar is weird. That's what I'm saying. A guitar is still weird to me. How the hell can you do that? A piano is crazy to me. How can your fingers do that all at once? Y'all weird people. But I like y'all.
Thanks.
I like y'all. Y'all are crazy, but Jesus, that's.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was, but yeah, it was an interesting place to be. I think, obviously very nuanced experience. And what would your thoughts have been? Like, how would you have felt?
If I was walking down through the Midway, when you come from the big, like, main grounds, right? You on such a high of like,
was it called Grand Court or something?
That was the Great Basin and like the main area where the administration building was. But the whole thing. Then you walk to the party. Basically, the Midway would have been where I would have been at. That's
what I think.
If I'm me right now, But in those times, I definitely would have been like, yo, this is where the party at. Because you got to think, you seeing all
It's where the party is at.
Yeah, you see all these different people from all over the country, all over the world.
Yeah.
You eating the food, you experiencing the culture, you seeing animals just out there like that. Heck yeah, I would have been there. But then at the same time, though, going to the different mega extravagant buildings, seeing all like the flowers and the mining and the artwork and all these things, I don't know.
You would have had to spend like at least a week.
I mean, good thing the thing was there for 6 months, because I feel like this would have been a thing. Let's go there this month. Hey, we gonna be there this month. We gonna be there. Man.
One thing about the Midway is that it actually redefined how amusement parks existed after this. Obviously, amusement parks had been around for a very long time. I think the oldest amusement park is from 1583 in Denmark, but it was never anything like this. It was, the Midway didn't have the rides that we think of now when we think of amusement parks, but amusement parks until that point were not as compact, were not as packed of people, were not as kind of like everywhere you look, someone is trying to get your attention.
Right.
And that was kind of really a redefining moment.
Mm-hmm.
It was also, the word Midway entered the English lexicon as like the grounds of a fair,
right?
Like an amusement park, I guess, where that became called the Midway because of Midway Plaisance.
Yeah.
So it made history just because of the way that it existed. And it kind of just introduced a new form of amusement that just was not around. So, as we talk about all of the negative things that were happening in it at the time, it's also, I think, equally, well, maybe not equally, but it's also important to recognize the things that came from it. I don't know. I feel like it's really hard when you talk about these events in history that are generally viewed as so positive and so entertaining and so fun and so lighthearted, but you also kind of have to remember that a huge majority of the country, not the country, but a huge majority of people, because I don't know how diverse the country was at the time. But like, this Columbian Exposition was celebrating a moment in history that for so many people was considered positive, but for so many people was an end of civilization as they knew it. Or not, maybe civilization is not the right word. I don't know. I don't know how to word it in a way that like makes sense, but I think it's like, it's just so nuanced when we talk about these, and it's kind of like, I try to like present it in a way that makes it, we understand that it was positive and fun and lighthearted, but we also understand that it was terrible. It was racist.
Yeah.
It took advantage of people. It didn't view people as human.
Right.
Like those both things are true.
Right.
So.
To keep on with that, I think the best way that I think about the World's Fair is kind of like what we've been doing all 5 years that we've been doing this, right? You just got to tell the history the way it is, right?
Yeah.
And it happened. It was that. And I think on our end of it, if we don't tell the story, we are bad researchers, bad historians, bad storytellers, right? But at the same time, when you put it in the context of what those times were, right? Mm-hmm. And then mix it with the context that happened just over 2 decades later, right? It's located at the University of Chicago currently. University of Chicago came and did kind of the same complex situation with the community areas.
Right.
So all they did is that same mentality of what we are today kind of started literally in the grounds where we started. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So in the sense of, it's hard to, all of it was bad, right?
Yeah.
Slavery was absolutely horrendous. We got limbs out of it. You know what I'm saying? Barbecue. We got barbecue. That recipe, but you know what I'm saying? That recipe is from that. The culture that we have is that we saw for the first time. A lot of people saw for the first time. Is something that makes us today. That's Chicago.
I think what I struggle with when we talk about these topics is like, I don't want to be reductive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to. I don't want to make it seem like I'm boiling it down to like a morsel. You know what I mean? So
if people are thinking like that, it's crazy.
it's no, I know they're not. I'm thinking like that. I'm thinking like I want to do it justice. Because also like as a brown person that is deeply fascinated by the World's Fair, I also recognize that I would have been an attraction, not an attendee. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And so like I think that is also hard to like grapple with when we look at history, because a lot of the times, like now we have this immense privilege that we can do it from a distance and like retell the story. Obviously, we're living in an insane time, but like when we're looking back, but I probably would not have seen it at the time that it was around.
Right.
And if I was gonna see it, I probably would have been in like an outfit doing like serving coffee at it. You know what I mean? Like it wouldn't have been a great experience for me. So, I feel like that, sorry to trauma dump, but I feel like that's kind of like where what I struggle with when we tell these stories of like things that are mainstream thinks of it as a positive thing.
Right. But
wasn't. Then you have to, and next week is going to be even more difficult because we're really diving into how Black Americans experience that. Like Arabs weren't in the US yet. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't like Arab Americans at that point yet.
Right.
So there was no reason for me to, you know what I mean? But like Black Americans were here.
Right.
And they were in Chicago.
Yeah, we don't talk about
it. So like, I feel like that is also going to be a really interesting way of looking at it.
That's a very interesting time too, because you are almost 30 years removed from being free, and you're not quite on the move yet. You still in the antebellum South, technically, and you ain't moving yet. So like the blacks that were up here in Chicago, you had Ida B. Wells, who was doing her thing. The dynamic between her and Bertha Palmer, and dynamic mainly Jane Addams. But we'll get into that next week. But yeah, I mean, these stories are they're never gonna feel good.
Yeah.
You know why they don't feel good is in one of our credits is that we tell the stuff that ain't fun. You know what I mean? Like, but we know that's the story you got to tell.
Yeah.
You got to tell the story. It ain't never gonna feel good. But say la vie. So it's unfortunately that's the thing. Is like it happened. All we can do is like enlighten people, and that's the best part about it.
Yeah.
We get to tell these stories, and like I think the craziest, wildest, but coolest part of it all is when you finally put these pieces of the puzzle together, right? Like we find some stuff, and you'd be like, oh, so maybe that's how that person was moving. You hear a lot of stories. Here's the thing. I was just talking about this when we were doing the videos for the scavenger hunt. I was talking to Mercedes, and Daniel Burnham get a lot of credit, right? But Daniel Burnham also was egomaniac.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to say he was a bad person because I don't know that. But like, you could deduce that your boy had an ego. He had 3 major plans of cities, one overseas in Manila, something like that, over in Asia. So where he planned that city, he planned Everson, he planned Chicago, he built buildings in New York, all over the world. So this man,
I mean, I would have an ego too.
I mean, think about the major ego that is an underlying thing that people haven't thought about. We know that the plan of Chicago was really anticipated by this, right? By the World's Fair.
Yep.
Which, if you put it together, when he finally built the Civic Center, it looked just like the World's Fair.
Right.
Which, again, continue to connect the dots. Why do you make buildings where you demolish them? Was that Burnham being like, nah, I don't want y'all to do this yet. I got another plan.
Yeah.
This is a part of the thing. So, it's a whole bunch of that going on. We weren't there in those times. All we can do is like look at, read the things that we got, the diaries that we have.
I think the diaries, the diary entries, the articles, that kind of stuff is the best insight as to what was going on. Because this is what they thought in that exact moment.
Right.
And I think that those are my favorite. Like, again, these are opinions of people, so I would never take them as like fact of what was happening, but I think they give a great window as to like what people thought of. So like, you know, the person that I kept mentioning, what's his name? Now I forgot.
Julian.
Yeah. Julian Hawthorne. You know, like maybe he said the buildings were ugly, or, you know, the statues were too much, or whatever he said. I'm not taking it as fact. Like,
right.
Of course, the statues were too much. Oh my God, fact, write it down. I am taking it as like this wealthy white person attending this was like not impressed. But you know what I mean? Like,
right.
it's just, and that's why I think those are always fascinating. And I encourage you to read them because they're just interesting.
Also, this is a good call to action to go out to your library, research. If you don't just rely on the internet, the best example that we give is the Harry Monroe, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you just do research online from what you see on the internet, right? All the information isn't there. And so you will get the crust level of the story, right? You know, we're going to do a reel on it, but I almost want to do a whole nother episode on Harriet just by herself, you know, like a deeper part 2 of it. Yeah. That was kind of about her. But going to University of Chicago, shout out to the library there. But seeing the articles and the transcripts between her, the Chicago magazines, the New York companies, how they was all beefing, how she went through, we had the actual court documents, transcripts of her beefing after the World Fair was over with. We have all that. Mm-hmm. And then now you know more to the story. Yeah. You know, she wasn't all that happy at the World's Fair.
Right.
I mean, they really, first of all, they strung her along for a good year. A good year. She was writing this damn poem. Mm-hmm. You know, she was writing a poem that was supposed to be done, given in 1892. It didn't open. All right, cool. So we're going to hold off till 1893. Oh, shit, her stuff got leaked a month before. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's like, come on now. Like, what? So she wasn't happy. If you read the internet, you like, oh, man, she had a poem there. Nah, they was telling her to change stuff. They wasn't paying her. She had to go back and forth. Hey, this is my right. Yeah. Come on now.
It was a lot.
It was a lot. So that it's just that I don't know how we got here.
And even you were talking about how like going to the library and doing the research in there. Yeah. And like what's really cool is like that the University of Chicago resources are free.
Free.
Like we are not paying to do this research. Like we email them or we log on to their database and we request these documents and we just go in there and we have access to them.
Do our research.
Like the same thing with like any newspaper article that I reference or mention, these are through the Chicago Public Library for free. Yeah. Like I can access all of the Tribune archives for free. I don't have to
tell a story.
Yeah. So, you know, I always love that. Yeah. But thank you for letting me rant a little bit at the end there. I think this was one of my favorite subjects to talk about. It's been a dream of mine to talk about it for a while. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did love this episode, please share it with someone you love. It's the best way to support us. Do not forget to sign up for the Substack so you can get our weekly newsletter with all of the fun activities that you can do around the city as well as the history. And that is all I got for you today. Hopefully we'll see you next week. See you next week. Peace. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and we hope you loved it.
And if you could, please follow us on social media at 77 Flavors Shy on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter.
If you have any ideas or deep dives that you'd love us to do, please contact us at media@77flavorsshy. That's the number 77 flavors and shy for Chicago.com.
If you like visuals, please subscribe and follow and watch us on our YouTube channel at the same thing, 77 Flavors Shy, or search 77 Flavors of Chicago.
If you would like to support us monetarily, go ahead and click that Buzzsprout link in the description of this episode.
And as always, we gonna see you next week. Peace.